I was raised by an entrepreneur. My father was an entrepreneur, and I think for the most part, that's really where a lot of my entrepreneurial spirit sort of was nurtured and cultivated.
But who I absolutely have been girl crushing for years, she does not know this, but me have been, have I not been stalking Omugel? Have I not been always on some baton in the background doing the things? I'm talking about Ujama Mushimba. She's a serial entrepreneur doing the things, but her passion really is in building successful African businesses, and it can be traced back to when she even worked with her late dad, Mr. Aaron Mushimba. And from him, she learned about the importance of tenacity, about perseverance, and these traits she still exhibits till today, and she's driving them forward into her own businesses because this is what is under her belt. There is Madawa's Holdings, yes. Black Diamonds Investment, yes. Ubumbex Investment. And then there's Namdeb, there's Diamond Factory. And then there's this one. I just absolutely love the name, and she has to tell me how she got into a Kenako Investment Holdings. And she is she's here today, this morning. She is territory partner for Action Coach, because if you're a business, you have to level up. Absolutely. And she says, I am here to help you do just that. Ano Ujama Batung. How are you, and good morning?
How are you? I feel so bad that you're I've been stalking this lady for forever, and all I wanted to do was just come in here, have a chat with you, Radio 99. Now I'm here.
Now you're here. No, I really am grateful for you to be here. But since I've been stalking you, I only know the Ujama of now.
Okay.
Tell me the Ujama of then that is a culmination of now. How did you grow up? What was your childhood like?
Okay, so I think like many African children, I was raised by a community, a very loving community. I was raised by an entrepreneur. My father was an entrepreneur, and I think for the most part, that's really where a lot of my entrepreneurial spirit sort of was nurtured and cultivated. And so grew up. Actually, I wasn't born or raised in Namibia, but I'm a Namibian,
Yeah.
And so I attribute a lot of my upbringing to the community that I, was so privileged to be in. Yeah.
So you being fortunate enough to be in the entrepreneurial space, one of your biggest dreams growing up, because you were already exposed there, what was it? Was it also to be, I'm a businesswoman already right off the bat at 2 years old?
I wish. I wanted to be a doctor, actually.
Oh.
I think it was probably because my mom was a nurse, and I just liked the healing part. I sort of always felt healing was my thing, or taking care of people was my thing. But my dear, then I got to university and I was like, no, this chemistry is not going to work for me.
It's not your portion.
Yeah. It was not my portion. So I sort of veered off and drifted into entrepreneurship. Mm-hmm. I always figured that I would never do it because my dad was one, and I saw how hard it was. And so it wasn't initially what I thought that I would end up doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
You just mentioned your dad now, of course, him being your early influences that led you to become an entrepreneur. Could you elaborate more about that and other influences that made you go, okay, let's do business. Let's business this out.
Well, my father just was a phenomenal man. And I get really emotional talking about him because he's a late, but he just had such a passion for entrepreneurship. He just never believed that he could work for anybody. And my father was that person who wasn't academically accomplished, but it's almost like when someone's just given, it was in his DNA that he was going to be an entrepreneur. Every single thing he saw as an opportunity, and his biggest thing was just not for himself, but for his community. So he was all about bringing people along with him. And I think that for me was inspirational, but also it was almost like my dad's spirit of integrity and hard work was something that I still believe in it every day, but it transcended from me being a child to being a student to being an employee to now being an entrepreneur. So there's certain values that you sort of just carry along your life, and those are the ones that he really instilled in me.
It's so beautiful that that string that still is now and that seed that's now implanted in you. He was bring along person. You are now we are bringing along for reals.
Absolutely.
And that's such a beautiful thing.
Absolutely.
Fireboy with Ed Sheeran, Peru, on your playlist right now, and we'll be picking it up as we talk about Action Coach and how she is actively bringing people along to growth. I'm 99 FM, your inspiration station. If you've just joined us, you've joined us at the most opportune time because I'm talking to entrepreneur extraordinaire, Ujama Mushimba. And we're picking up from how she was inspired by her dad and really how she's carrying forward the spirit of Ubuntu, the spirit of we all win. It's not just one of us that makes it, but all of us are going to make it. Tell us about Action Coach, how it helps businesses to thrive and why you are part of this organization.
Girl, let me tell you, I discovered Action Coach really just by accident because of my own entrepreneurial journey. Because let me tell you one thing, entrepreneurship will show you flames. And it showed me flames. Yeah. And, you know, I started a brand called Wing It Diner. I'm sure you're familiar with that. And I thought I knew what I was doing. And because I'd gone to, you know, business school or whatever. And when COVID hit, the reality was that a lot of the stuff that I had put in place in the business were just not sustainable in terms of allowing us to withstand COVID. And that's really where I think for me was like, okay, so where did I go wrong? You know, and I discovered Action Coach, and I was myself being coached by a business coach, and realized that in hindsight, as entrepreneurs, sometimes we are so caught up in the day-to-day operations of the business, and we're on this emotional roller coaster, and it's like you just want this baby to like grow, and you just don't have objectivity. And having a business coach sort of brings a level of objectivity to your business, to you, and also it also brings a level of accountability. You know, it's really easy to say I'm going to do this, but then there's someone holding you accountable like every step of the way. You know, and so that's how I discovered Action Coach. For me, my coaching, I want to say, didn't start with Action Coach. It started before. Because I'm a person who, like my friends always say, if I wasn't an entrepreneur, I'd be a teacher or like some lecturer, because I love sharing knowledge. It's my thing. I'm a nerd. And so the teaching instinct was already there, but as soon as I got exposed to the business coaching part, I realized that's really where I can add value in the market.
I see.
Because I've experienced failure upon failure as an entrepreneur, and I realized that the missing link to a lot of my failure was based on the fact that I just didn't have an accountability partner who was invested in my success as much as I was. So that's really how I discovered Action Coach.
I love that so much, because we do not see the value actually in having someone not hovering over you, but holding you accountable and mentoring you through the ups and the downs. Absolutely. And the demise and the rise.
And the rise, because there definitely has to be a demise in business. I mean, you can't call yourself an entrepreneur if you haven't failed at something, you know? But I think it's rising from those ashes that really makes a difference between those who are successful and those who aren't. And the coach brings that level of clarity a lot of times to your business. You know, they come with strategies that you might not have. They might come with, you know, a forecast that you can't see because you're so invested in this. And they actually call it the founder's dilemma. Sorry, I'm going to go off on a tangent, but it's called the founder's dilemma, where founders of startups usually fail, not because they don't necessarily have the skills to scale their businesses, but because they treat their business as a baby, and they are unwilling to sort of have an outside perspective of their business.
You do not know this business as much as I know this business. You're not as highly invested in it, so you're very protective over it. Okay.
And sometimes that is to the founder or the entrepreneur's demise. And the coach brings that perspective like, well, this is great, but at the end of the day, you're in business to make money. So let's play the game of business, and let's not play the game of this is my baby. And it was a lesson that I had to learn.
Yeah.
I had to learn it.
I love that. So here I am, and I'm an entrepreneur. I'm starting out, and I've been on this journey, but I keep hitting either financial brick walls, emotional brick walls, some sort of brick wall, and I feel stuck. And I'm listening, and you're saying you can get me to that next level. So how do I find Action Coach? Where do I go for more information? How do I get in touch with you guys?
Well, we're on the web. So namibia.actioncoach.com is our website. We are on all social media platforms. I mean, if you see me sitting in a coffee shop, you know, feel free to walk up to me and ask me for some business advice. Jamie and I are true entrepreneurs in that we're very passionate, so you'll find us standing in the street for hours talking to people. But really, find us on our social media pages. Tap into us on our website. We have...
Give us that website again.
It's namibia.actioncoach.com.
Okay.
And we have a product offering that ranges from the most basic to obviously the most
comprehensive.
And we really just want to be able to get everybody in the coaching space. So our motto is a coach in every business.
Nice.
Yeah.
Love. Your future dreams and hopes and aspirations for Namibia and the young entrepreneurs that are entering into the space of entrepreneurship.
Right, absolutely. I think by virtue of the fact that I'm an entrepreneur, I just want everyone to win.
Yeah.
And I say my affirmation every morning, and I always say that I am transforming people who transform communities, who transform nations.
Come on now.
And so that's what I really believe for Action Coach and what we can do for Namibia.
Yeah.
Is that we're transforming and empowering communities so that they can transform and empower communities, because we want generational wealth.
Not just that one rich uncle that we're all looking at, like there's a wedding now, uncle.
Exactly.
We want all of us have to eat. We all have to eat.
Every one of us has that responsibility. It's we all win. When one wins, we all win.
True.
And I think for me, being privileged and blessed in many ways feels like this is truly my purpose.
Yeah.
It's just to make sure that we create communities that are going to create generational wealth for generations and generations to come.
No, we receive it, Ujama. We receive.
Amen.
We concur. We will call you up.
Please
and
do.
we will hold you to our millions. I'm holding you to my million, Pella. Not even just one. I want to be a multi-millionaire.
Girl,
not
yes.
multi-millionaire.
In pounds, baby. But I have one more thing.
Yes, please.
I just wanted to say that Action Coach will be offering 10 free complimentary sessions to entrepreneurs. I'm going to leave that in your court to decide who those 10 are. But it's a 1-hour mini alignment sort of to get clarity on, where you are in your business and where you want to take it. So I would like to offer 10 to some listeners. So,
that's beautiful.
Girl, it's up to you. You choose them.
I mean, no, yes. The power is me. And I don't know if it was a good thing to give me the power. But we're highly grateful for you coming and for also paying it forward.
Thank you.
And we're grateful for the legacy that you're carrying forth from your dad, man, and from the family. Like you said, it takes a village, and we are our village ourselves right now, in aspiring and inspiring each other. So thank you for coming, Ujama.
Thank you for having me. I loved being here so much.
No, definitely the door is always open to you, so you better come back.
I will, most definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was Ujama. She is a partner for Action Coach Namibia. The website, namibia.actioncoach.com. That's namibia.actioncoach.com.